live!
Woo!
I
Yell.
I've been experiencing some technical difficulties, so that is why we are late. Amy and Paige have been instructed to carry on should I freeze up or cut out or at nature. So yeah, here we are.
Hello.
Hello! I'm excited to talk about this because we've actually finished a series this year. It feels like it's a long time coming.
We did it.
We did it. I was reading up until about a half an hour ago, so I cut it pretty close.
Good feeling.
Yeah.
But you got it done.
Yeah, which is more than I could say for Book of Life, so.
Unlike me, who did not get it done, but I am here, and don't worry about spoiling anything for me because I'm still going to finish it, so yeah.
So, initial thoughts so far. What are your initial thoughts so far, Danielle? Are you excited to continue reading it, or how are you feeling?
I don't know. I mean, it's been kind of slow going, and did through them on Discord, and I did do a little bit of like internet research, like just trying to prepare for the discussion tonight, even though I'm not prepared. And I think it just kind of like what I read kind of confirmed what I was already feeling. Like this book didn't have like a really concrete like direction or like, I don't know. It was more just like reminiscent, which I think you mentioned before, Amy. Not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think, Paige?
I really enjoyed it. I love being back with the characters, but I didn't feel like it really fit. Like with Marcus and Phoebe being the predominant focus, which was fine. I just felt like their characteristics weren't how I expected them to go. So it took a minute to sort of go, yeah, okay. And towards the middle, I was like, I want to punch Phoebe in the face.
Yeah, me too.
But I still loved being back with them regardless. So it was, yeah, I liked it.
What'd you end up rating it?
4. I think I decided. I think I might have put it on my tracker as a 4.5 when I initially finished it. I just want to double check. Yeah, I put it as a 4.5 on my tracker.
You rated, Amy?
I gave it a 4-star. Which I still really liked it. I liked it a lot. I especially, like you said, Paige, I love being back with these characters. And I honestly, at this point, can say that if Deborah Harkness gives me anything with these characters, I'm going to enjoy it because I love these characters. And they've grown. I've grown with them. They've grown with me. They're in my heart. I do see places where I think that she could go with other storylines. And I think one of the issues for this one in particular, like you said, Paige, is like, for some reason, Marcus and Phoebe didn't carry the main character element of this perfectly well, which is why I was glad we had Diana speaking to us at certain chapters, like from her point of view. Because, yeah, and I really did like learning about Marcus's history, but it didn't feel like there was a solid plot in this one. Like the nice thing, I guess, about the All Souls trilogy, the first 3 books, is that you have an ultimate goal, and it has to do with Ashmole 782. So that ties the all 3 books together, and the conflict of that, which culminates in the very end. Whereas this one, it feels like it's really cool that we're getting to spend time with these characters, and I like hearing more about their back history and stuff, but I almost feel like I want these people's history, but we have to tie it to some greater arc of some sort. Does that make sense? But I still really liked it because I love these characters. So I still give it a 4 stars. It was still enjoyable. I still enjoyed reading it. So
Jean said, I thought there was totally a lot of missed opportunities within this book.
Yeah, and I know that Jean was saying that she felt that the last section was really rushed through, whereas in the beginning you spent a lot more time with certain things that maybe weren't quite as interesting. And then the last part of it, it's like it kind of rushed.
Yeah.
And which doesn't seem very much like Deborah Harkness's style to be rushing through things.
No.
That's a good point.
And I wonder, do you think she was getting sick when this happened, when she was writing this, or what?
Probably.
I don't know.
I thought Marcus's story was interesting, but it's also a period of history that I'm less interested than I was in maybe like the Elizabethan, like.
Yeah.
See,
So,
I had the opposite reaction to that. Like, I think I was more interested in this than I was the Elizabethan times, but
I have to
yeah.
admit, I did have the Hamilton soundtrack playing in my head anytime the name Lafayette was said.
I was enjoying the Lafayette, and Thomas Paine and the Mr. Guillotine, that was so cool. I was like, wait, it's a guy? Mr. Guillotine was an actual person? I didn't even put those things together. Like, this was a person who invented the guillotine. It was just that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jean said, I wondered that if she was getting sick or if the deadline was too tight. Yeah.
I feel like because of the success of the trilogy, there probably were more external factors and she probably would have spent years plotting out the entire trilogy to the nth degree. I think when she wrote the original trilogy, that's what she thought she was going to be done with. But as she was writing it, she sort of could see other areas to take it. And then with the success of it, the publishers were like, hey, let's get this stuff.
This was more just to feed the fans,
Yeah. I think it's a better cash grab than most.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There are some that are just not great and didn't need to be written. But I'm not mad that this was written.
Right. Yeah, I felt like it was a little out of her, not out of her writing, because it still is her style in a lot of ways, but I think she even probably could have seen that she could have done more with this storyline, or I don't know, maybe she thought it was fantastic exactly the way it was. I don't know. I can't assume that about her writing, but considering how fleshed out the first 3 books were,
and it was such intricate detailing throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And they were beasts. They reflected the fact of her research.
Yeah.
Jean said, I also noticed more as someone gets more famous, they sometimes get less edited.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't think they need as much help or something.
Or their editors think, oh, well, they must know they're a genius.
They know what they're doing. I feel like maybe that's why book 5 is taking longer to come out. Because having been sick and going through a global pandemic, but also just in general, I could see her wanting to say, hold on a sec. I wasn't 100% with book 4. I'm not going to put book 5 until I'm ready. And I don't give a shit if that then delays everything else.
Yeah.
I want to write the book that I want to write.
I mean, this certainly didn't get the same reception as the other 3 books. People did not love this book nearly as much as the other 3 books.
Yeah.
And she must have seen that.
Yeah. I'm so excited for Gallaglass's book.
You know how we were talking about how they portrayed the characters in the show and how it just didn't match up with how we thought they should look and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jean shared something with me that was a picture of the character that plays Gallowglass, and I was like, oh, I think they did really good. I felt like that was one that they did really good with.
What's the actor for Gallowglass?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Let's see. Discovery. I loved having Gallaglass in this. I mean, like, even the little bits we got of him, it would have been nice to have more, but it's just nice to have Gallaglass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Stephen Cree. Is Diana blonde?
Yeah.
Is she
In the
blonde in the
show.
book?
She has like, I thought she had like multicolored hair in the book, like almost like a calico
thought-
cat at first. Her hair changed like as her magic developed too, but
Hmm.
yeah. I pictured her as being blonde. Mostly blonde anyway.
Getting the little tidbits of Gallaglass, getting little tidbits of Felipe, getting little tidbits of Isabeau, those were some of the highlights for sure for me. And it made me realize who my favorite characters are, because when those characters came into the book, I was like, I'm so excited, and I could just feel like the excitement coming up. So like, there's definitely characters that I knew I loved them, but I didn't realize how much I loved them until like I saw them make a reappearance in this book.
Yeah.
Jean said she was so excited to see Gallaglass in this book, and it was way too short of a time. He made way too short of an appearance, and then she said that actor is a Scottish actor. And she agreed that she had multicolored hair in the book, but she imagined it to be more red.
I had it like the red hair hybrid baby with the strawberry blonde, sort of like not a vibrant red, but it was more like when you have bright red hair and it washes out to the blonde. That's sort of where my brain went. But that's only because I've experienced it.
I certainly didn't picture her as a blonde, so that's kind of, when I saw that picture, I was like, wait, what?
Hold on a second.
It's funny how we hang on to these feelings of how we perceive these characters to be, and so then the idea of characters in the show not being what we expect for the characters, we're like, that's just incorrect. But it's because our brains come up with their own pictures of what these characters should be.
Yeah,
I think it's neat.
Yeah, and like Baldwin in the show, like in my mind, I pictured Baldwin like to be this really formidable, like even like physically large, like redhead man. And like in the show, he's like this little dark-headed man. I don't know. It just was nothing like what
I pictured. Let me see. Actually, that's exactly what I pictured Baldwin to be. How funny.
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what I pictured Baldwin to be. Oh yeah, no, that's to me that's like a perfect match in my brain. What I never thought of Baldwin as a redhead though, so
yeah.
But like
I don't remember that coming up.
This square jaw,
yeah,
like sturdy frame kind of dude, like that's what I would have pictured. But yeah, it's funny how our brains come up with what we imagine these people to be. Yeah, I know you said you remember that, Danielle, and
the redhead. I don't remember. I did remember it from one of the previous books, but I couldn't tell you which one. And Amy was like, "How did I miss that?" And I was just, in the chat, I was just like, "There's so many characters and like so much detail. Like, how can you take every single thing in? You just can't."
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. There's just too much going on. There's so much that happens here in this one. When with different characters, like I feel like they didn't add a ton of characters, but even coming back to characters that I was like, well, I confused Freya with Varen the whole first half of this book. And I kept thinking, like, why is Freya behaving this way? She was so different in the series because I thought it was Varen. And then I'm like, who the hell is Freya? I don't understand. Who is this person? I only know Varen. So I was very confused.
I had to look her up, like, right at the beginning, because I was like, I didn't have it straight in my head either.
I was I was surprised that they would send Phoebe to Varen. I'm like, obviously they didn't. It was Freya, but like thinking of Varen being Freya, I was like, why would they even send? Why would that be the person? She's not a nurturing person. She's a horrible. I was so confused for a good portion of that.
Yeah. I know Freya, I don't know why that made me think of Francois. Like everybody did like her character. Is that how you say her name? I didn't listen to the.
I would have said Francoise because there's the E at the end, but.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I really liked her. I really liked when she was kind of putting Phoebe in her place there for a second.
Yeah. Francois.
Like, I'm the lucky one. I have my freedom or whatever.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah.
And that came. Hold on, me. Yeah. Françoise. And that was a big part of this book that I thought was very interesting, was the concepts of freedom, because they really did show how toxic Felipe actually was as a grandfather figure within this family line. And so that was really hard to make that, like, knowing how much I love Felipe, but then knowing how much he actually caused trauma within the family, not intentionally trying to traumatize people, but how much his level of control over everything actually did affect his children, his grandchildren, and having that become a big factor in this, and a big factor in Marcus's experience, was really kind of like, it was kind of rough. Like, it was rough to read that, because I like Felipe so much. I don't want to say like I condone his behavior, just I liked the character we got to meet. I liked his interactions and his relationship with Diana when we got to know him with her really well. And so to see him from this perspective was like, oh, I can see it, but it kind of makes me sad.
I don't want to see it.
Right.
I definitely I enjoyed seeing it from a different perspective. Just because I felt like it's always important to know that characters are not always the way that we think they are. But just going with it.
Yeah, no, and that's real. It's more realistic, right? So it actually brought a level of realism to this that we didn't necessarily want, but we needed it.
Yeah, 100%. See, I think I preferred the flashbacks because I couldn't stand being with Phoebe. Like, I was just so done with her.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, I appreciate that it is looking at rebirth and going through, like, your adolescent years again and learning how to walk and all of that.
It's a lot like human children sometimes. It's like, how do you survive?
It's like, I'm actively avoiding this for the longest time. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was rough.
It was. Phoebe was really hard to swallow this time around. I mean, I do think she definitely grew on me as at the very end when she was a fledgling, and I think her father's I think the fact that her father almost died brought some reality to her experience, and I think that maybe helped her a little bit to calm down, because she needed to calm down and she needed to stop being so self-focused, which is what she had become, understandably, because she's feeling all these, like, all of it makes sense. It was just really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, but I did like. I liked. Like I said, I liked the parts with Diana, and that focus back into the current time. So I did enjoy that part of the current timeline, and I did think it was fascinating to learn about the process of becoming a vampire. I just thought it was annoying. So like, it was good
seeing it. Yeah.
Like, it made me not excited about becoming a vampire, which I was before. So
Here's an interesting little tidbit. So the book Diana, I feel like I could definitely I didn't mind her character until I watched the show. And I feel like the show Diana is very annoying. And now every time I'm reading her in the book, I'm picturing the show Diana, and I don't like that.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes me nervous to watch the show.
I don't like it. I don't like the show Diana.
Oh.
Okay, I'm moving on.
Can they recast her before we watch that? You just redo it.
I don't know, and somebody else might think that it's...
Oh, while we're here, can you share your Isabeau? I know you shared it in the Discord, but share it out loud for everybody to see and hear. Are you frozen completely? Did we lose you, Danielle?
And it's not working.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
There we go. Well,
did you hear what I said?
About sharing Isabeau's character?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Emilia Clarke would make an excellent Isabeau.
I like it.
I thought that was a great choice.
I pictured her so much younger than what she's portrayed on the show.
I mean, in the book, they even said she looked younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought she was 30 in the book or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Jean says, I don't know how you say his first name. Is it Clays? Clays?
Let me look it up.
Clays Bing, who is imagined. That's who she imagined as Baldwin. I could see that.
It's a Swedish name. From the Swedish.
Close.
Klaus.
Klaus Bing?
Klaus Bing. Klaus Bing.
Yes.
So you agreed with the Klaus Bing? Bang.
I mean, that wasn't exactly how I was picturing. But looking at that actor, I could see where he could play a Baldwin.
Yeah.
Jane was surprised Philippe didn't speak out or be more of an active character.
I mean, he's still a ghost. It's limited.
There's only so much you can do.
Matthew was so neglectful.
Oh, you mean Matthew was neglectful when Marcus was a child, or a child vampire?
Yeah. Sending him off.
Okay. Magda agrees about Phoebe driving her crazy. It was the rest of the current timeline, especially the twins, that she enjoyed.
Yeah. Oh, I want to go back to the Matthew being neglectful thing, because that made me think about
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too surprising to me, because remember when he first got with Diana, everybody was really shocked with the way he had changed to be with her, and they just never thought it was a good idea. And I think that Matthew for so long had become this vampire that hated himself so much and struggled so much with his blood rage and didn't think he deserved anything good, that he always did things that were not, the fact that he was with Juliet. Why was he with Juliet? There's no reason he should have ever been with Juliet. But I don't think he's the kind of person who felt he deserved better than that, because he was always punishing himself. And so I think that it wasn't within his character to be someone who could be stable for Diane. And so Diana, what's her name now?
Diana.
And so I think that's why his family was kind of surprised about all of that when it initially came about, and didn't know if it would be safe for Diana and for Matthew. And so I think that I get where you're surprised, Jean, because we've gotten to see Matthew from a very different perspective. But even if you think about the Matthew that he started becoming again, he started reverting to when he was back in the, what was it, Elizabethan era? Or was it Elizabethan, or what was it? That era, he was such a jerk. He was such a jerk. He was so self-centered, and you could see him reverting back to that Matthew that we didn't like. None of us really liked him at that point because he was being such an asshole. But I think that's what he had been for so long, very self-righteous, but then also, you know, also probably making really poor decisions because he just never thought he deserved better than that.
Yeah.
At least that's what my thoughts on that.
Okay. I can agree.
What do you guys think of the twins?
So cute. Slightly concerning.
Yeah.
But very cute.
Philip and his griffin are like freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And Becca, like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if they like underestimate her or what. I think she has a lot of potential.
She's kind of scary.
Like I said, I think they might have seen her.
Yeah, they're awfully cute though. And the griffin, that was a fun addition, Apollo.
Yeah.
So
I
what I don't understand is how come Diana's fire drake didn't stick around but Apollo's sticking around. Like, how long was the fire drake supposed to stick around? How long is Apollo supposed to stick around?
I think it's just to guide them as they learn.
To be weavers.
So once Diane was confident in her magic, it could go. But until that point, and that was what was so interesting with her being able to let it go, was most of the time they stuck around. Like, her dad's stuck around for ages. And he had really fond memories. But because they would usually come from childhood, and since they aren't for Diana, she just had a different relationship with it.
No, because I don't want to be annoying, Magda. I don't want to be annoying like Phoebe.
Were we going to do an impression?
No. Remember I said I don't want to become a vampire anymore now that we've seen how Phoebe changes.
You don't want to act all juvenile and everything.
No, I don't want to be that annoying.
Me.
Whatever.
Magda saw
the
actress too.
Well, that's really upsetting to hear. Because I say that I'm excited to watch the show, but I haven't ever watched it yet. So I guess I'm not that excited yet. But I do want to watch it at some point. And that's a bummer if she's really that annoying.
Do it when you're done. Do it when you're reading the books.
It's all up to Deborah Harkness, though.
I know. I know.
That's depressing.
That is who I was thinking too. Oh yeah, Queen of Dragons, baby.
That's a good choice. And she's a stunning woman, and she's got this power, though. She's a very powerful
class.
She's got the
class. Yeah.
But she can also kick your ass.
That kind of quiet power. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Diana's memories about being bound were so full of emotions, and it was so short-lived. Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that what she's saying?
I think she meant because that section where, like, Diana breaks down about being. That is a big bird. Sorry. It's a really big bird. I just want to make sure it wasn't a pterodactyl. So Diana was flying when she flew, that section where she has the flashbacks because Matthew's making sure that Philip stays in his seat. she was having flashbacks to being spellbound when she was a child, and she ended up being spellbound multiple times. It wasn't like it was one spellbinding. It was like she was constantly being spellbound over and over and over again. And she has really, really traumatic memories of that. Yeah, it did go pretty quick. Magda still wants to watch the series. I mean, I do too.
Yeah, I guess. So did Baldwin end up binding the twins as magic? Was that what happened? No, he couldn't have. He's not a witch. Why did I think that?
No, because he had made that agreement with Diana that if anything had gotten out of control at any point, she would spellbind Jack, the kids, anybody that had to be spellbound. But see, the thing is, like, Baldwin was so quick to jump the gun with that. The second he got his thumb bit by Becca, or the second somebody lost their temper a little bit, he was like, oh, they need to be spellbound. They need to be spellbound. And, you know, it was completely unreasonable how he was so quick to want to spellbind the kids and Jack. And I think, well, with Jack, he just doesn't like Jack. He just doesn't trust Jack because he doesn't trust anything having to do with the blood rage. And I mean, Jack's come such a long way because he was so immature in the last 3 books. Not like he couldn't help it, you know.
He was young.
He was young, and he'd also had a really terrible experience.
I feel like it's like saying to a vampire, like, oh, I'm going to spellbind your strength or your speed or your, I don't know, whatever else. Like,
yeah. I just don't think he really thought it through. He was just like, nope, too concerned, done. Like, this is too much of a risk. I don't care what they think. I just do it. Rather than going, oh, this is actually humans and seems to have really long-term traumological, like, trauma-focused things for Diana, who we can see is visibly struggling with this. So maybe not.
Well, and Baldwin was never a risk taker. I mean, and that's why Felipe didn't make him the head of the Brotherhood, because Baldwin would never take risks. He was a by-the-book, follow every single rule, which works for being the head of the de Clermont family, even as annoying as he is. It works for that, because he will make sure that he sticks with the de Clermont rules, like what you have to do in order to stay at de Clermont. But, like, he wouldn't be a good head of the Brotherhood because he was never willing to take risks. You know, he was a good soldier. You send him out there, he does what you want him to do, but he would never be very creative in his way of thinking. He would never be the guy who, like this, he won't even contemplate that Jack needs time to become a healthy vampire, because he's never had the opportunity to be a healthy vampire in the past. He doesn't think that. He thinks, okay, there's a problem, let's just fix the problem now. And he doesn't stop to think, okay, maybe that's not the right way of going about things. Because he doesn't think that way. Like, he's just not that kind of person. Not that kind of person.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've known people like him. It's really frustrating, but they really have a hard time seeing outside of that box that they've gotten their mind in. You know, that they think that there's no way that things could be different.
Jean said, I thought Deborah would bring more attention, but I found it was a little flat, so disappointing.
I can understand that.
Yeah. I do think there were some scenes that could have had more impact that didn't have as much impact. And then I think there were other scenes that we spent more time on than we needed to spend on them. And I think that's kind of goes along with what we've said about this book in general, was that it felt a little not like an afterthought, but more like, you know,
filler?
And to keep people happy. And it was like, and it did, like, I got what I wanted from it. I did get that nostalgic feeling. I got some new experiences with these characters and a little more back history. There's definitely other storylines that I'm excited to hear about and I'm more interested in. But I do kind of hope that she spends more time, like Paige was saying, spends more time with it and comes out with something, in my opinion, that has a larger underlying storyline, because I think that that's what tied that first series together so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does she got?
Sure.
Anything? Anybody else have anything they want to share? Thoughts?
Trying to think. I would like to know more about Ransom. That's a story I would like to see made. I think that he's a pretty interesting character, and we really got just a little bit of him. But his personality was very unique, and I thought that would be fun to hear more about him, especially going forward, because what exactly is happening with him? He can't have kids. He's not allowed to have kids, just like Marcus wasn't allowed to have kids. So what's he doing in New Orleans? He was the one who wanted to have kids the most. I'm curious
Like
what's going on with him.
biological kids?
No, vampire kids. Like, he was the
Okay.
one pushing having the kids. Most of the kids that Matthew killed, I say kids, but I mean vampires. Most of the vampires that Matthew killed while he was in New Orleans were actually Ransom's kids.
Mm.
They were Marcus's
Okay.
grandkids.
I
And
gotcha.
I'm curious about Ransom.
I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah. And he seemed to know what he was getting into when he was becoming a vampire. Like, he was pursuing it.
He was actively waiting for that to happen.
I did think it was interesting that he was like actively pursuing Marcus from the beginning. Marcus got there. He was pursuing Marcus from the very get-go. Do you think he knew no, he didn't know what vampires were, but do you think he knew that something was unique he must have known something was unique about Marcus, right?
Must have, but there wasn't really that backstory that she normally would have dived into.
Right. And I thought that the New Orleans part was very quick, considering how much she spent on all the other parts of Marcus during the war, during his back history. The New Orleans part was really surprisingly short.
This is more to do with Ransom. Jean liked Ransom, and he was the one that made Matthew read out all the names. Oh yeah,
I forgot about that. He was mad. I mean, obviously he was mad.
Yeah, I remember the scene. Like, I forgot about the names. That's good. Huh. It would be an awesome book.
I think so too.
Jean said, "I only watched the first season of TV series. I liked the multiple points of view, and instead of revealing in the 3 book." I don't know.
Did we only have one point of view in the series? Was it always Diana's point of view?
No, I thought it went like at first, but it was like the one was told more in like first person, and the other one was told more in like third person. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was always first person from Diana's point of view. Just kind of like in this book, it was first person Diana, third person everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting way to write.
Yeah, why do you think she chose that?
I don't know.
I mean, even in this book, were we still getting first person Diana?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh.
Does she want us to always come back to and identify with Diana the most? Like, is that her intention? Why she makes that Diana first person?
I mean, that
I
would
would say
make
that's
sense, as that would be her
reasonable.
target demographic as well.
Then why'd they choose that actress in the TV show? Seems like they focused all on Matthew in the TV show and not on Diana.
Rude.
I would like a Freya book, Police, Women, Princess, Thief.
Yes.
Especially because I don't know who the frick Freya is. Let's get her backstory, since I have no idea who she is.
Oh my gosh.
I agree. She seemed pretty badass, Freya.
She killed her brothers.
Wait, she did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what this book said.
I think I remember her now. Or at least remember them talking about her before.
She killed brothers for some reason. I'd have to find it. I don't know if I can find it. I didn't really mark anything.
And then Jean was saying at the very end that she would like to see a Chris and Miriam book, which I think I like Chris.
Yeah. Yes.
I really like Chris.
I like Miriam.
Yeah, Miriam's pretty. I don't know. She didn't. Her character felt a little more flat in this book. Now, I'm not.
I do like Miriam in the show,
yeah.
and I do like the Satu in the show, so that's probably part of it.
You like Miriam and who in the show?
Satu.
Oh,
which I said.
Which is Miriam. Yeah, I felt like Miriam's character was more flat in this book than she was in prior books.
Yeah.
Okay, I see her. What does Phoebe look like? Oh, she's pretty. Oh, you liked Satu. Let's see what Satu was. Who Satu was. Oh, not at all who I would have pictured. How fun. Okay, now let's see what Juliet looks like.
I think I found the part about Freya. Okay, it's page 139 in my book. Freya drew herself too high and lifted her chin. Phoebe didn't have much information on Freya's origins, but the gesture confirmed what little she did know, that Marcus's aunt had royal blood and had murdered her 3 young brothers rather than allow them to inherit the family lands.
Yeah, I remember that.
Boom.
I don't remember that at all. Oh, wow.
Good fun.
Yeah.
I think there will be Diana in the first person throughout all the books.
I think that I'd agree.
It's like a Miriam book. Sarah would be good.
Yes.
Love Sarah.
Or her ancestor, like the Bishop family, and it be like a multi-generational story.
And it centers around the house.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I would be so there. Like, I loved the house.
Let's put a letter into Deborah.
Yeah.
Who's Chris in Discovery Witches?
No.
Oh, I don't know that guy. Oh, do I know that guy? Oh, he's not how I pictured him either. How funny. I guess I just need to go ahead and watch the show.
It'd be good.
Yeah. And then scream about all the castings. That was a terrible choice. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, the house. Everybody agrees about the house. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the show, like, even though there's some things that annoy me. I'm still enjoying it.
Okay. So I think it's mostly a Diana problem.
I think they cast Sarah well, but I think the actress, it's like you can tell she's acting, which I like. But I think Sarah.
Oh, I've seen that actress before. Okay. I can't remember what I've seen her in, but
Not sure either.
So, I was curious. Okay, so in the section where it was talking about, Vanderslice gets killed and he's cut from one side of his neck to the other, and then later on in New Orleans, Marcus says he could tell who was killing who, like who Juliet was killing and who Matthew was killing, and Matthew was making it a very quick, clean, killing the vampire really quickly, just like Vanderslice had been killed. So does that mean that Matthew killed Vanderslice?
Oh.
I wouldn't have a clue.
I don't know.
Because I felt like that hinted towards that it hinted that Matthew was actually the one that killed Vanderslice in New York. And I think that would make sense because Vanderslice was becoming a real problem. And I was wondering if Vanderslice had blood rage because he certainly acted abominably as a vampire. He was not a good man. Or it could just be that he was young.
I think he was kind of a loose cannon as a human, like,
Yes.
anyway, yeah, so that was probably...
Yeah, which I guess is why Marcus thought he seemed like a demon.
Oh.
Because he was a little... Oh, what'd you guys think of... I had a really hard time understanding why Marcus attached himself so tightly to Veronique and the demon in Paris. What was his name? Start with the M. Marat?
Yes.
I had a really hard time with that particular friendship.
Yeah. It didn't seem very relevant.
Jean thought the same thing you did, Amy.
That Matthew killed Vanderslice, yeah. I think he did. It made sense once that whole the New Orleans thing came about. Yeah, I thought that they just were not a good pairing for Marcus, personality-wise, and I could see him pulling away. I just felt like he was pulling away, and he still loved them as friends, but at the same time, they didn't align with they may have aligned with some of his political beliefs, but not to the extent that they were super crazed about it and causing so many problems. And I was just like, I don't know. It was a weird time in his life that I wasn't crazy about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor Who.
That was who. What else she played in, I guess. Oh, and on ER.
Oh.
I think she was on ER. Yeah.
I don't think.
Uh-huh. That sounds right. Jean thought it was a pity that Marcus cut himself off from Isabeau. It was so painful to watch.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't get to that part. Or the part about Vanderslice.
You didn't get it, or you didn't get to it?
I didn't get that far. That's why I'm like, I can't really comment because I don't know.
So, while Marcus was in France during the whole French Revolution thing, he was aligning very closely with a guy named Marat, who was a demon, who was writing a newspaper, like it's a revolutionary newspaper, and he was this guy who was so fanatical about it that, like demons can get, right? So he was super fanatical about it, and he was causing so many problems. And him and Veronique, which is the girl that who's still alive and who Phoebe has talked about a couple of times. Veronique, she was very close. She was a big part of this, revolution as well. The revolutionary thinking. And they really tried to pull Marcus away from the de Clermonts because, for one, they didn't want him associated with anybody who was aristocratic, because that's who they were trying to be against anyways. Anybody aristocratic was negative at that time. But then also, they didn't like the level of control that the de Clermonts had over Marcus. And so, there was this big battle about, between the families, and Felipe actually came and dragged Marcus away once and took him to London, and he and Marat had to be there for a while. Because, the other problem is that Marcus and Veronique are vampires, and Marat is a demon. They're not supposed to have any dealings with human politics. They're not supposed to, per the congregation, right? And so that was a huge problem. And so that was actually really even more dangerous for Marcus to be involved with them, because they were doing stuff that was completely illegal within the congregation's rules. So Felipe and Isabeau and all of them kept trying to pull Marcus away, but Marcus was going through his rebellious phase where he was looking for a family. He didn't feel like he was finding it in the de Clermonts, and so he was like rebelling. He was being Phoebe, in other words.
Yeah.
He was being a pain in the ass. So he eventually goes back to the U.S., and because the yellow fever had come out in the U.S. and it was so bad, and so many people were dying, like it was just a really bad epidemic. And he goes back there and he finds Vanderslice, and he loved Vanderslice back when he was, part of the whatever they were called, those dudes. And Vanderslice was almost dead from yellow fever, and he brought Vanderslice back as a vampire.
Like associator, was it something with an A?
Something like that. Because he wanted family. He kept searching for family. And so he brought Vanderslice back, but Vanderslice was a problem.
Yeah.
A real problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was surprised we didn't get more Dr. Otto and his sons. I enjoyed the parts that they were in, or especially Dr. Otto.
I was gonna say his sons seemed like jerks.
I don't think she means Mart. Who was the demon? What was the demon guy's name?
Oh, Marat.
Marat. Maybe that's who was a real life person that was eventually assassinated.
Marat, French Revolution. Oh yeah, he was. Jean-Paul Marat. A journalist and politician during the French Revolution, he was a vigorous defender of the sans-culottes, a radical voice, and published his views in... And then it cuts off.
That's something else like I get hung up with on these books because I don't know all of the like French pronunciation or anything like that. And I will literally like sit there for minutes on end, like trying to decide in my brain like how I'm going to say it, or I will look it up online and have, one of the little talking voices, say it. But oh my
in
gosh,
your head.
I get so hung up on that. It's dumb, but I do.
It's not dumb. I get it because I always try to pronounce their names, and like the Kloss, that one I kept like.
That's one reason why I was doing better with the audiobooks because it just pronounced it for me.
Yes.
But yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Let's see, is there any other thoughts about well, so Marcus killed his dad, Obadiah. Mm-hmm. Obadiah was awful, and I didn't think this was a big deal. It's terrible, right? I was like, yeah, so what? And everybody's like, oh, but you killed your father. And Matthew's like, oh, you killed your father. I'm like, yeah, so what?
He was an abusive douche canoe.
Wait, what did you say?
He was an abusive douche canoe.
Right.
Yeah, I was not sad.
I just thought it was so funny that everybody was like,
away, but
right. Yeah. What's that say about us that we're like, yeah, that makes sense. I guess it's still murder though, right?
Yeah, half a dozen of one, 6 of the other.
Well, especially like then, like I don't. People knew he was beating his family.
Yeah.
And like nobody was doing anything about it. So it was kind of one of those times where like if you wanted something done about it,
you just take care of it. Well, and for Matthew to be surprised, considering he's a vampire, like what,
Not all black much.
Yeah, seriously. That's what I was thinking.
This book had too many characters.
What I was thinking about when you said that, Jean, was that, oh my gosh, Fernando. I want a book about Fernando.
Yeah, I thought about him earlier too.
I love his character. He was in this a little bit, but not much. But he was
like the most kind-hearted, like devoted, like, vampire ever.
I liked him.
Uh,
A little bit of him
um,
and Hugh. Because we never met Hugh.
when Marcus went back to visit the farm to reach out to his mom, and it was to reach out to his mom and sister and his nephew.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. It was sad because he was happy. Like he was happy that they were well and that there was laughter coming from that house that had so much trauma and pain for so long. But like he knew
Wow.
he could never ever come back to his family.
Aw. PTSD still happened during the Civil War. Marcus's dad might have been that way before the war.
Oh, meaning like it wasn't just because of the war. Yeah, we don't know.
No way to know.
Like it, yeah, I don't know. He was just a mean, evil guy, and PTSD does not make. And so, was it implied that he was? I mean, this is a horrible subject, but it was implied that he was, and like, because they said, oh, well, he wasn't beating the daughter, but it was implied that he was doing something else to the daughter, right?
I don't know.
I didn't take it that way, but
Because there were a few occasions where they said,
Yeah.
well, what did they, but they didn't say what happened to the daughter. And they kept saying something about the daughter. And the daughter was the one that was trying to get away from him. And she moved her shift or something with her dress when her
Yeah.
dad was drunk. And I was like, wait. No wonder Marcus killed him. Like, not only is he beating his family, but if he's doing his daughter, like, that's horrifying. I'd kill him too. Come on, Marcus. Step aside. Let me take a swing. I'm not a violent person, just so everybody knows.
Apparently not.
Yes.
Of course we do.
Gonna say yes.
We just need a book about everything. Just every single
But
person gets
a
their
large
book.
part of that book would be her taking revenge on all the witches, and I don't know if I would really like that part. But
True. She did spend a lot of time doing that.
oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even know if I would want to get like inside her head during that time. I didn't think he was visiting the daughter. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't.
I just thought there were quite a few clues there that were
I didn't pick
insinuating.
up on that. Yeah.
I'm just.
Did not pick up on
I
that.
guess I'm just sensitive. I'm hypersensitive to horrible people doing horrible. I just assume the worst of people. So I'm like, well, obviously he's a horrible person.
You didn't pick up on it either.
There were a few things that I thought, but maybe I'm wrong. It's just some of the comments. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
Hold on a gosh darn minute.
Yeah. Either way, he was a bad dude.
Do you think I could swap prompts for the TBR knockout?
For different months, you mean?
Yeah, like because I've done November's this month and then do October's next month. Do you think?
Yeah, why not?
Excellent.
The whole intention of the TBR knockout is to get books on your TBR read.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters what month you do them in.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, what is that? Is that?
I don't know if somebody's shooting on fireworks.
Oh, it sounded like a whole bunch of papers that somebody dropped on the ground, but it's like an actual.
Okay, she wants me to go close the living room window. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. Something creepy happening.
Many spooky.
She says, I thought the dad was trying to divide Marcus and his sister. I don't know. I know that when Marcus came back, the dad was in the house with the sister, and the mom was outside crying or screaming. Like, there was a lot of icky stuff happening. I don't know. There was some weird shit happening. I don't think we want to go back over that particular piece of clues, though, because I think that that's already ugly and icky anyways. Oh, were you at any point worried that Phoebe was going to change her taste to her stepbrother?
No.
I thought that was a weird addition, like adding him in there. Like, why was he even necessary?
I thought he was just there as a teacher.
I
Because,
just
like,
couldn't
yeah.
Go ahead.
Keeping it sort of... Oh, my God. I just had a panic attack. I thought...
Are you
he was
okay?
there to support, yes. Her learning and keeping it sort of, like, similar, so then they could, like, not... She's less likely to go running off to Marcus because someone of similar type is with her.
Oh, okay.
Not as a love interest. Yeah.
Or no.
I just was looking at Goodreads for Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and it said Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, book 1. And I was like, hold on a second. What have I signed up for? Thinking it was a series.
And
she's released a collection of short stories in 2006.
Okay. So nothing to worry about.
No.
Yeah, I did think that particular guy was kind of a weird addition, but I guess, and I was also wondering, like, were they trying to test her? So she has an opportunity to test her feelings for Marcus, you know, like just to make sure that she makes the right choice when Marcus is presented to her.
Because, like, that's it was very all-consuming, and I don't know. Their relationship sort of wigged me out by the end because he's like, I knew that it was always going to be you. I never had any doubt in myself. And I'm like, well, why the fuck were you doubting her then? Like, pot kettle black? No?
I guess maybe because he just didn't trust the whole vampire turning process. Which makes sense for him, though, because he turned Vanderslice and a lot of other people. A lot of bad apples in his past.
Many bad apples. But he also didn't know, like, of Blood Rage that he was continuing. Like, how would he know?
Yeah, that's true. I was also thinking about that, like, our Marcus and Phoebe are never going to have a family.
No.
Because unless Phoebe, well, I guess Phoebe could make their children. And then he could do what Felipe did, which was like, you know, like do that thing that he did with Diana, because otherwise Marcus can't have any more babies, vampire babies. No. But I guess technically Phoebe can. Okay.
That makes so much more sense.
Jonathan Strange was supposed to be a trilogy, but the author never followed through.
That's fine.
Not necessary.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's a 1,000-page book.
Yeah, I could just say that there was a lot that she wanted to continue with. Like, there is literally, it is set up to continue. It does not end.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I was like, huh! with the 1.5, thinking I'd miss something. But yeah. If she ever does, I hope she keeps it to the same size as Piranesi.
Have you read Piranesi?
Yes.
I want to read that one. I've heard such mixed things, though.
Yes, it is a nonsensical book. So I can understand, like, people that go into it thinking that it's going to be structured. It is very confusing.
Okay. Well, I think that's how Night Circus is going to be, isn't it? Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting from Night Circus.
That's what I'm expecting.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up, isn't it? Oh, dang.
Next month.
Yeah. Oh. Hold on a second.
Shazza, what you doing?
We all have, like, these fun background noises going on tonight.
I'm home alone.
Guess that noise.
And for $20, it's Shazza in the kitchen. Hi.
Hi. What did I miss?
Nothing. We were saying welcome to this episode of Guess That Noise.
Yes, that noise. It's dishes being washed.
Because we both have had background noise happening now.
So what was it, Danielle? What was it?
Mia thinks somebody was shooting off a firework because she said there were lights along with the loud booms. So
Fair enough.
very, very random, but yes. Isn't Sharon watching the show? Yeah.
No, she's gotten tired of watching my shows apparently lately.
Does she know what our next read along is going to be?
No,
For next year?
she's been
She
having a
doesn't?
hard time
She's gonna
sticking
miss
with
it.
she didn't read this, and I don't
Oh.
think she has the energy to read it right now. And I don't know if she's going to finish. She's just not. She's wanting to read what she feels like reading right now, you know.
Yeah.
And she's having a really hard time wanting to read
I
outside
can
that.
totally relate to that.
Yeah. So maybe next year, she'll be up for it, but.
Well, that answers that, and Magda's on here, so yeah, so it's us and Jean and Magda.
Well, I know Sandy didn't finish, and I think it's towards the end of the year, and people start losing, steam. We start losing steam. I think we've all, been losing steam too. So
I've lost steam with the model instruments.
I
mean, I literally did not finish this book that we're talking about tonight, which this is like the second time this has happened to me this year, but
that's okay. I mean, it happened to me last time with Book of Life, so I mean, it happens. It can be hard having that much, like, well, these are not like super. These are big books, is what I meant to say. I can't form a sentence, apparently.
They're not light and fluffy. They're dense books that you have to use your brain to read.
Thank you. That's exactly.
And so at the end of the year, when everything's going on, people don't have the remaining brain cells to be able to, or desire to want to do that, when you could throw them at some other things.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely my energy and attention is definitely being pulled in a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell Jean and Magda what we're reading at the start of the new year? Can we have
I don't know.
drum
Have
roll?
they read it? They may have already read it.
Oh, we might have.
Too bad if you have.
Wouldn't that be bad? Drum roll, please.
What are you
we
doing?
Will be reading.
Oh, wait, Paige is lowering it.
She's got the book. Oh.
There it goes. There it goes. Woohoo!
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited.
I am too.
Very excited. Very, very excited. Yeah, and I don't remember.
The season.
Yes. Magda never loses steam. Never loses steam.
Oh.
But she's got to work a little harder because her team's not winning.
Never heard of it.
Book season by Samantha Shannon, and
you have now, Jean.
It's about it's about clairvoyant magic, a clairvoyant witch. So it's about psychic magic.
She's a criminal.
Isn't it awful that I really didn't know what it was about? I just knew I wanted to read it. Oh my gosh.
She works in the criminal underworld of London, Scion, London, and she has a particular kind of clairvoyancies, except because clairvoyants are illegal in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, by her existing is treason. So that's why she works in the criminal underground, but that is only the beginning of this book. It goes a lot further than that.
And we're starting book 0.5 in February.
Yes.
which is The Pale Dreamer.
The
The
Pale
Pale
Dreamer.
Dreamer.
So that's a little novella
Yeah.
prior to this, and it's
I
not
don't know.
too thick. Most of them are 500, we'll say like 500 pages. It is an ongoing series, and they do get thicker as they progress. But
We're doing
Yeah.
every other month, so
Yeah.
we're only doing
Yeah.
one series next year. I think that
I don't know which thing Magda didn't hear.
I don't know if she heard the Bone
I think
Season.
Oh,
the
okay.
title, yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll be reading The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon.
Yeah. So we do have, of course, our side quests. I know that some of us have been somewhat active in there, but not too much. So if there's any side quests that people want to do next year, we can always do that.
Yeah.
But we're going to stick with just one series because I think a lot of us get, like every month we get a little tired. Not tired, but
Yeah.
kind of like how we're doing right now, where we're sort of losing steam.
Yeah.
Except Magda.
Except
Magda.
in all technicality, I did finish Times Convert before the original live show date. I finished it
You
on the
are
first.
amazing.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
you did. That's right.
Yeah.
So I've technically
You're on top of
been on
things.
par, but
You're on top of things.
I am struggling to find the motivation to do Cassie Clare at all. But also the protagonist's name in this is Paige, and it's spelled the same as mine. So,
And what more do you need to know?
and I've already read the novella and this one, so
Was the novella good?
I enjoyed it. It's setting up.
Are you gonna reread, or are you just gonna kind of like refresh
Probably
your?
just read a in-depth review, watch a lot of
Yeah.
spoily vlogs.
Well, yeah, I think that'll probably be enough if you've already.
Because I'm sitting
through
here
it
and I'm
all.
like, yep, I remember this,
Yeah.
and this. But this is October, and this isn't happening. Like the live
February,
show probably
or-
wouldn't happen until the end of March.
Right. That's right.
When are we
Yeah.
trying to? What would be the ideal?
Oh yeah, we didn't say what date, because we have been moving towards like the middle of the next month. So are we gonna try and be more strict about
That
our?
would be really good. Yeah, that would be
Do
really
we want
good.
to try and keep it in the month?
Yeah, it would be really good if we could do the discussion at the end of March for book one.
So
Okay.
that would
And
be
and actually it will be for, won't it be for 0.5 and book one, because we're not doing like a separate show for the half books.
Right.
So technically we could either do the 25th of, well, this is the Saturday, the 25th of March, or the 1st of April is the Saturday. Sorry, it'd be the 31st, Friday, the 31st of March for you guys. So keeping it in the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just have to make sure I plan for that.
Yes. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I think we've got into the habit of like not actually reading them in the month that they're assigned for.
Mhm.
So with this, I apologize in advance. My soul is a little chaotic. So it will be novella in February and then the first book in March. So because it's the 0.5, just
we won't be
doing
skipping a
that
month. Yeah.
all in one. And then
but then the next book book two won't be until May.
Yes.
So yeah.
And then oh god,
I have it. 0.5 in February, book one in March, and then we talk about 0.5 in book one in March, at the end of March. Book two is in May. We'll talk about it at the end of May. Book three is in July. We'll talk about it at the end of July. And then book 3.5 I have down as September.
Yes.
Okay. 3.5 in September and book 4 in October, and we'll talk about both of those in October.
And then that will be whatever's published.
Are we going to do reading sprints on the half months? The 0.5 months?
I think we should. Yeah.
Or should it be the halfway mark for the month, so then we're actually remembering to pick it up and actually finish it in the month.
Is
You
that
mean, like,
different than what we said?
So like just doing the weekend. Oh, sorry, I thought you were in the other on the off month.
Oh no.
I was just thinking the 0.5 months. So like in February do reading sprints, and then in March do reading sprints, but not do them in April because we're not reading a book in April.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
that's
then,
not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
That also makes it a little bit easier for planning life things.
Yes.
And not having one Saturday some ones, but
Yeah.
easy done.
Awesome.
So we will make official announcements eventually.
Yeah, on our channels. Yeah.
We'll do the actual announcement videos at some point, just not yet because we're still pretty early on, and we're still working on Mortal Instruments, Paige.
That's right.
Working on. I've come to a standstill.
Yes. Actually, how about we do it in the Discord? Will that work? Yeah.
And like I said, we will have the videos go up on our channels as well. So you will be able to.
Yeah, we will be putting more information. We were just wanted to let you guys know since you're here, and we had come to that decision.
And we were excited about it, so.
I'm excited for the Bone Along 2.0.
Yes!
Yeah.
I can't wait because I've been wanting to read that series for a long time, and so it's like, and I'm excited. I think I'm going to really like it. I'm going to really like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we can do our Theodora Goss sometime.
Oh, as a side quest. Yeah,
we'll have to time that so the third one is on an off month because it's 800 pages.
Holy moly!
I know. I didn't realize the last one was so large.
Oh my gosh, that's frightening. Okay,
we can do this. I'm sorry, I keep just shoving big books in your face. The Night Circus, Jonathan Strange, the Theodora Goss series. I love you.
We're going to get, and I know, and then this one is the shorter of the two, but the last one of City of is like 800 and something.
Mammoth.
Oh my gosh, why?
And Clockwork Princess is not small.
No. Well, we are going to do this, and if we don't, then I'm going to do this. Are you, Paige? You going to be able to hang through, or you don't have to? Like, there's no pressure.
No, I will endeavor to be up to date.
That Cassie Clare, she's burned some bridges along the way.
Yeah, it's just like I have all these other things for the readathons, and I'm like, must pick up Cassie. I don't want to. I want to read that thing first. But we'll get there. We will get there.
Yes, we will. Well, this is wonderful. And Danielle, your internet's much better than it was when we first started.
What in the world? Oh my gosh.
It had a moment there about halfway through.
It did.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
but it's good. Yeah, it happens. It happens. These kind of things happen.
Well, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Yay! I don't know if
thank you for joining us tonight.
I think the next.
What's the next?
The live show for City of Lost Souls is going to be on Paige's channel. We haven't decided when, but we'll have to talk about that. And then the next sprints and live show will be on my channel at the last month.
Yay!
We're almost there.
Can't believe it.
Getting there.
That's frightening.
Can't believe it.
But we're doing amazing.
Well, we will see you all soon. Jean, Magda, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, all three of you.
We love you.
Jean, and Magda.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to close it out, you guys, and I'm getting a weird pop-up. We're not going to be able to leave.
Live. Just
I know why.
Staring at the
I know
screen.
why. I was pressing the wrong thing. Okay.